Okay guys, logarithms. We're going to talk about some very basic stuff first. On the first podcast and the second podcast we're going to get more specific. If you remember from the last couple of days with exponents, we've been playing around with ideas like this, where you're going to have to say, okay, what is x going to be? And for the first couple, we had to find the same base. So this would be 2 to the first. 64 would be, 2 to the 6th, because 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. So this would become 2 to the 6th x power. And then once again you have the same bases, so then 6x is equal to 1, so x would equal 1/6. Okay, likewise over here you get 2 to the 4x power is equal to 2 to the, 64 would be 128, 256, 512, so 9 power. Okay, actually 10th power, so 2 to the 10th, so 4x is equal to 10, so x is going to equal 5 halves. Now the question would become, what happens if we do something like this, where you get 3 to the x is equal to 40? You can't write 40 as 3 to a power. You could probably, come up with an estimation. 3 to the 3rd is 27, 3 to the 4th is 64, so x is going to be somewhere between 3 and 4, but how do we get more specific than that? And that's how logarithms came into being. So the basic idea here, and this is all we're going to talk about today in this podcast, is the fact that a logarithm is actually, in fact, just a exponent. So it can be just an exponent. Let's get the grammar correctly. And so what ends up happening is I want you to think about log, this is pronounced log base 4. Log base 4 of 64. Okay, 4 is a subscript, much like an exponent is a superscript. So it's not 4 to the 64th power, it is log base 4 of the number 64. And so what I want you to do is to think, okay, what exponent goes on 4 to equal 64. Now notice somebody had actually said, hey, look, it's the WeGo function, because what exponent goes on? So now you're asking yourself, okay, I'm going to rewrite this. So you're essentially saying, okay, this is equal to x. 4 to what power is equal to 64? And they're like, well, that's going to be x equals 3. So the log base 4 of 64 is equal to 3. Let's try a couple more. Okay, so what is log base 5 of 625? So the first thing I would say to do is put in a variable, rewrite it as an exponential form. Now the other way to remember this is this. Okay, this is your base. This is also known as a base. Those stay together. The other numbers end up swapping. Okay, so then at this point, once you get to here, and this is what we're going to be doing initially. Later on, we're going to get more advanced in terms of, what do we do when things get moving along, and that's also why you got the log buttons on your calculator. So, and again, you may already know that this is 4, but you've at least got that, so x is going to equal 4. Okay? So a lot of the first part of your homework assignments, which is also kind of like the 3.0 level, is going to be converting things back and forth between the two. So they'll say something like, write log base 6 of y equals 5 in exponential form. And actually you can solve this then too, because again we've got 2 out of the 3 areas. So again, remember, what exponent goes on a 6 to equal y? Well, that's going to be a 5. You're going to get some ungodly huge number here. Actually, it wouldn't be ungodly, but depending upon things. So you'd end up with y equaling 7776. Okay? Or you would say, okay, write 3 to the x is equal to 40 in logarithmic form. So you would say, okay, base is the base, so that's going to be log. Now again, remember, it's like a small 3 down below. It's like an exponent size, but it's lower. It's not actually a number. What exponent goes on a 3 to equal 40? And that's going to be your setup there. Okay, so we're just playing with it. Tomorrow on the next podcast, we're going to actually go through and do a whole bunch of other things. So again, we've got log to your base of a number, so let's call it x is equal to y. That's equivalent to your base number to the y power is equaling x. Okay, and that should take care of most of what you need to do in the beginning parts of your log problems. Okay, so you're just going to be converting back and forth, and then exchanging and then solving things that way. We'll start talking about properties tomorrow. So thanks for your time. I'm just going to double check. Okay, well that's a suggested homework assignment. That's not anything that's an older one, but that wouldn't be a bad thing to do. I will see you in class. Talk to you later.